All right, the Monday night doubleheader wraps up, and Jake Moody is the hero. How about that? The Bears beat the Commanders on the road behind Jake Moody's game winning field goal, 25-24. Great to see for Jake. So happy for Jake. I mean, it's what can you say? I mean, it's been a rough go for Jake Moody. As simple as that. And he comes out and makes a 38-yard field goal with time expired to make, or time expiring to give the Bears a 25-24 win over the Washington Commanders. So what a game. What a night. Doubleheader. Bears get the second game. Caleb Williams was not an amazing performance from Caleb Williams. He threw for 252 yards and a touchdown, but he didn't turn it over, and the Bears ran it really well. 27 carries for 145 yards, 5-4 a carry. DeAndre Swift went for 7-7 a carry. Where the Commanders didn't play as well. They turned the ball over. Jaden Daniels had 3 touchdowns, but he had the 1 interception. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt only ran for 3.6 a carry. Daniels himself had 10 runs for 52 yards. But overall, on a wet night, the Bears get a huge performance out of DeAndre Swift, who had 108 yards on the ground, 67 yards, and a touchdown as a receiver. Luther Burden also had a nice night for the Bears, 4 catches for 51 yards. And Chicago gets the win on the Jake Moody field goal at the end. So, interesting game for sure. Tremaine Edmonds had 13 tackles for the Bears. The Bears had two sacks on the day, and Jaquan Brisker got an interception. So that was good. Really, if you go back and look at this game, if the Commanders want to look at this game and kind of do the deep dive on what happened here, it was really their defense gave up 381 yards to the Bears. Their defense could not stop the run. The Bears ran for almost 5 yards a carry, but it's -3 in turnovers. It's as simple as that. Whether we're talking about the Niners or we're talking about the Bears, we're talking about the Commanders. If you're -3 in turnovers, it's really, really, really hard to win. And that's what the Commanders were. They were -3 in turnovers, and they let the Bears hang around. And sure enough, the Bears beat them 25-24. It was 13-7 Bears at halftime. And it was 60, it was 17-16 Commanders at the end of the third quarter. But the Bears win the fourth quarter 9-7, and they win the game 25-24. Now, kind of some upsets. How about this? The upsets going left and right. The Commanders were, I thought we're going to beat the Bears, and the Bears beat the Commanders. And then how about the Buffalo Bills losing to the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta? 24-14. Josh Allen threw for only 180 yards. He had 2 interceptions. He was sacked 4 times. Michael Penix took care of the football. Only threw for the 1 touchdown, but no interceptions. Bijan Robinson ran for almost 9 yards a carry. 170 yards for Bijan on 19 carries and a touchdown. Algier also got in the end zone. And, you look at this game, Drake London had 10 catches for 158 yards. I mean, Drake London was absolutely huge. And 4 sacks for Atlanta. Atlanta, a year ago couldn't rush the quarterback. Tonight they got sacks from D. Alford got 1, David Onyemata got 1, Sam Roberts got 1, Ruka Rororo got 1, and the Falcons had 6 hits and 4 sacks of Josh Allen, and they picked him off a couple times. D'Angelo Malone had an interception. Alford had an interception. And, once again, it's like you go back and you look at some of these games and you're like, well, the Buffalo Bills are really, really good. In this game, the Falcons were the better team. They had 22 first downs to 17 for Buffalo. Buffalo had a hard time staying on the field on third down. They were only 2 of 9 on third down conversions. And then the Falcons played keep away. 66 plays for the Falcons, 54 for Josh Allen. and the Buffalo Bills. So 443 total yards against I always wonder about the Buffalo Bills. Do they have good enough weapons around Josh Allen, and is their defense good enough? And after a game like this, it makes you wonder, is the defense good enough? They gave up 443 total yards to the Atlanta Falcons in this game. So, Atlanta ran for 210 yards against Buffalo's defense, 6.6 a carry. And, once again, who had the turnovers? Atlanta was +2 in turnovers, and they win the game. Turnovers mean so much in the NFL. If you turn the ball over more than your opponent, you're going to have a hard time beating your opponent. And tonight, the team, Atlanta was +2 on the turnover table. They won. Chicago was +3 on the turnover table. They won. Getting turnovers, taking the ball away on defense, not turning it over on offense. That's how you win in the NFL. So great win for the Falcons. They go to 3-2. The Niners will now take on a Falcon team that should be in a really good mood after beating the Buffalo Bills. That will be next Sunday night, and that should be a hell of a ball game. And that's going to be a really good one. The Falcons have been kind of an up and down outfit, but they've got Penix, who's got maybe as good an arm as there is. Drake London's a tremendous receiver. Bijan Robinson is a really, really good running back who can run it and catch it. And the Falcons have, over the last 2 drafts, have really bulked up their defensive line. And you look at what they were a couple of years ago and now what the Falcons are, they look like a much, much better football team on their defensive front. So many, Jesse Bates was a nice free agent signing, but if you look at what they've done in the draft, Xavier Watts in the draft, that was a really nice pick. Jalen Walker in the draft, Arnold Ebiketie in the draft, Ruka Rororo in the draft, Zach Harrison in the draft, James Pierce in the draft. I mean, they really addressed their deficiencies at rushing the passer up front. And they now have an assortment of different rushers, and they can put some heat on the quarterback. And they put heat on the quarterback tonight, and it was good enough day for the Atlanta defense to hold the mighty Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen to 14 points in a dome. No weather, but that's what happens. If you can put enough pressure on the quarterback, you're going to be able to affect the quarterback. Buffalo had success running the ball. Buffalo themselves ran for 5.6 a carry. James Cook, 17 carries for 87 yards, 5.1 a pop. Allen ran for 42 yards on 6 carries himself. But when you look at the Buffalo Bills and you say, do they have enough? I always look at their weapons, their offensive weapons. Here are their receivers in this game. Josh Palmer, 2 catches, 60 yards. Khalil Shakir, the former Boise State star, 3 catches, 33 yards. Terrell Shavers, I should say. Dawson Knox, Ray Davis, all-day Ray Davis from Kentucky. Ty Johnson, Keon Coleman, Elijah Moore. There's no stars there. You look at Atlanta by comparison, they're running the ball with Bijan Robinson. They have Drake London, first-round pick, Kyle Pitts, first-round pick. I mean, they've got some weapons. So a lot of people want to say, oh, it's Buffalo's year. Watch out for Buffalo. You know what? Josh Allen's awesome. But until they get him some better weapons and a better defense, I think he's going to continue to fall short of his ultimate goal, and that's obviously to win a Super Bowl. So there you go. A little breakdown of the Monday night doubleheader. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. We should also say thanks to Sleeper for presenting 49er football season on the Krug Show. Use the promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. I love Sleeper. Once again, use that promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.